Morning, everyone. I am Pastor Kevin Goodwin, and today we are talking about the foundation of our society. We see stuff going on all over out there, and we're trying to figure out what's going on and how do you fix it. And today we're going to be talking about what's going on and how to fix it. We're talking about the foundation of our society. We're talking about what is the purpose of the family. So grab a pen, grab a paper. If you want to have a stronger relationship with your family members, you want to have a strong relationship with your spouse, if you want to have a better relationship with those at your co-workers, stay tuned. Grab a pen, grab a paper, and let's get right into it. If you don't know the purpose for a thing, then misuse is inevitable. I want to say that again. If you do not know the purpose for a thing, then you misusing it, it is inevitable. So we're talking about the purpose of the family. So I want to go over about 4 items that are foundational, because as the family goes, so goes the society. If the family continues to get stronger and stronger, the society as a whole will get stronger and stronger. But conversely, if the family begins to weaken and crumble, the society is weakening and crumbling. And so as I look out there, I see society is getting crazy. So let's go back to the building blocks. So write this down. What is the purpose of the family? Number 1, I'm just going over these items: socialization and civilization. It is in the family. It is in the home. We should not learn our social skills outside of the family. We should have learned how to work well with one another, how to play well with one another, how to speak well with one another inside the home. It's inside the home we learn how to share at the table. It's inside the home we learn how to work well. It is how to speak well. It is how to listen to one another without interrupting them. I'm thinking of a recent debate I saw where there's a lot of interrupting and not listening. And the first thing that came to my mind is there was poor home training. You didn't learn. You were supposed to learn how to socialize. And many are antisocial because they didn't learn it in the home. And the family is the place where you learn how to be social. The family is the place where we learn how to be civil with one another, how to be quiet and listen to someone else's viewpoint. You don't necessarily have to agree with it, but you're respectful and you learn it. And so if you didn't learn it at home, you take this attitude out into civilization. And so you look at the prisons and you look at the jails. Many times they are totally uncivilized. They haven't learned how to share. I was listening to this gentleman, and he's executed. I'm from Southern California, and it was a big deal, and his name was Tookie Williams, and he was executed. And he got the name Tookie Williams because if he wanted something, he just took it. To the point in which he was in jail, and as I said, he had been executed because he took somebody's life. Just randomly. All of this is from poor home training. So number 1 is socialization. Number 2 is civilization, how to be civil with one another. Number 3 of quality of the purpose of the family is preservation. The family is there to preserve that unit in its original form. You used to hear kids, you keep messing with me, I'm gonna go get my brother. or I'm gonna go get my daddy. My daddy could beat up your daddy and everything, and it could get a bit ridiculous. But the family unit was designed to preserve that unit. Another purpose of the family unit is identification. Who are you? I'm gonna go. This something that just recently happened to me. I was invited by a family member to attend a family function. And the first thing that came to my mind was, oh, what's it going to cost me? I got to do this and I got to do that. And I don't know if I can take the time off. Be busy, 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 busy. But I realized as it was going along, no, one of the main purposes of the family is identification. That is your family. You need to set aside the time, set aside the money, and do what needs to be done because you are part of that family. And that's a responsibility as identification. And I want to go on into this preservation and identification. So many people, when I look at society, I see that a lot of things that are going on is because they didn't have a lack of identification. Many have gotten into gangs because they didn't have a sense of identification in the family, and so they feel they can get that identification from the gang. And so they got in this gang, and they got with this group that is doing all kinds, and they will do all kinds of crazy and foolish stuff because they weren't receiving identification and affirmation in the family. That's one of your purposes. Fathers, mothers, aunts, uncles, one of your purposes is to give constant affirmation and identification to those who are in the unit. It's so important. It's so easy to get so busy that we don't stop and realize that. But we have to be conscious that if we don't do this, that there are repercussions. And what's going on in our society, by and large, is a repercussion of what we didn't do in the family. So we've got socialization, we've got civilization, we've got preservation, we've got identification. And another one where the family should be an incubator. And an incubator is a controlled environment for the care and the protection of the young and the premature. The family is to be a place where our young can screw up and make a mistake and still have the care and protection of the family. It should be a place where there's wholeness even when you blow it. That's what the family unit is supposed to be. Now, I could go on, and matter of fact, I think I'll make another video on this subject. But I want to stop for just a moment and address an elephant in the room. And then for those who says, Kevin, my family, it was not a place where I felt safe, where I was cared and protected. My family was not a place where I was supported. I didn't learn some of these things. And if that's you, I'm in that as well. I do not know who my father is. And my mother abandoned me many, many years ago. But I still have realized that if I don't get this right and understand, I don't want to pass this on to my kids. And so the number one thing, so what do you do when you didn't have this ideal situation, is that you can get into the family of God. If you haven't already, get into the family of God. Because in the family of God, in the Word of God, in the Spirit of God, you can get three things. Number one, you can learn of what the ideal situation for the family is. Because if you don't understand what the ideal situation for the family is, then you will go from ordeal to ordeal. because you will subconsciously not even know it, you start doing antisocial and uncivilized things because you weren't properly trained in what is social and what is civilized. You will get so busy that you won't do what's necessary to preserve and identify with the family. So get into the family of God and get plugged in. And see, the Word of God and the Spirit of God will begin to heal you of the stuff that happened in the family way back when. Things that could have happened from your father, from your mother, from an aunt, from an uncle. The Word of God and the ways of God will begin that healing process as you learn the ideal and you begin to get healed. God will give you wholeness because you don't want to pass this down. It's very easy to pass this down from generation to generation. And that's why the Word continually staying with the people of God, staying in the Word of God, listening to the Spirit of God is doing a work in me so that I'm not passing this down. Hey, I'm out of time for now. We're gonna do another video on this. But until next time, bye-bye.